Hi, welcome to this week's Shared Screens podcast. I always panic. Whenever I host, this is why I never volunteer to host, but whenever I host, I just absolutely panic the second that the record countdown hits like 1. Hi, it's just LeighErin and Jordan again this week.
We're gonna fuck some shit up.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Good. Yeah, Jesus fucking Christ. Like I said, I'm like going through it today.
Why?
I'm like in a mood.
Why are you going through it? Let's have a nice heart to heart for the people listening.
Get a little deep, a little fireside chat.
Why not? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just like, I don't know if it's because I'm fully processing that we are closer now to 30 than we are our early 20s. And I'm like going through this, like, I'm an adult. There is no world in which it can be argued that I'm not an adult. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of feel like an adult. And like I look at children differently than I did when I was a teen and a child.
Yeah.
But I don't necessarily feel, I feel like I don't know. It feels like it came very quietly, and I expected there to be more of like this is the moment I feel like I'm becoming an adult. Sorry,
Yeah.
there's a fly on the ceiling, is why I keep looking up.
No, you're good. Because I've been like dealing with like that similar thing of like, oh yeah, like I'm not like a younger adult anymore. Like I'm basically there, kind of like what you're saying. And yeah, there's no ceremony when you grow up.
Yeah, and like, stay with me here. Stay with me on what I'm about to say. But have you ever listened to Antihero by Taylor Swift? No, because we just had a conversation about Sexy Baby and you had no idea what I was talking about, so never mind. In Antihero, she has a line where the opening lyric of the song is like, I have this thing where I get older but just never wiser. And like, I just feel like that's what being 25 to like 30 is. Like I feel old, but I don't feel like I have enough knowledge as I should.
I think we are also like I feel like every age group got fucked over by the pandemic in different ways. And I think the way we got it is the transition from young adulthood to more serious adulthood was so much more sudden, where one got dragged out longer and then the other one just sort of happened.
Yeah.
And then there's like, kind of that whiplash of like, I kind of just feel like people threw me out into the forest and were like, survive.
Live. See what you can do here. And like, I don't know. I'm not like suffering. And like, I'm content, I guess. And like, I do agree with when we were in high school, it was already becoming a thing that like your 30s are, or like your late 20s into your 30s are your new 20s. Because when you're actually in your young 20s, you want to be going out and doing stuff, but like you don't have the money to. I go out way more now than I used to. Yeah, like I don't know. It's different though. I'm not going out to like get so intoxicated I don't know where I am. Drink responsibly, children.
Wait, but like you can every once in a while, like, you know.
Yes, I need to like, okay, you've heard me say this before, and I say this to most people. I need to be in the mood.
Yeah.
There's like a lot of mental preparation that goes into me getting that drunk. And it's kind of like, it kind of has to be a special occasion, but like not like a big special occasion where I'm going to ruin something if I'm hammered. But like the Thursday after Thanksgiving is like what I always go to. It's like it was a special occasion because like you guys were home, like everybody was home, I was home, like
I mean,
we would all go to our Friday after Thanksgiving. Sorry. Everybody's home, this whole thing. So it's kind of like that, or like when you guys came out to visit me in California and we went out with you guys and a couple of my friends and a couple of Victoria's friends that met up with us, like I was planning to get, and I did, but I was planning to get shit faced that night. And like, the point was, it was the first time me, and Victoria had really been able to go out drinking since the pandemic.
Yeah,
And that bar was sick as fuck.
it was. It was super cool.
The people who watch us on YouTube are old enough where I can talk about the bar in detail, right?
Yeah, I assume so. Listen, if you're
Yeah.
a child, I don't know, like go like all our videos, but don't watch any of them.
Yeah, I would say if you're under 16, don't engage with our content. um,
Wear a condom and sign off.
yeah.
Those are the two tips I can give you.
Um, but yeah, so it's a bar in my hometown that I can't believe it's just called here my hometown in the town that I live. It's a bar in the town that I live out here in Orange County, California, and it's like this little squat brick building with a super fucked up neon sign outside that's like dirty and falling apart. And then you go inside and the walls are all like velvet, all the booths are leather, it's dark wood, they have pool tables, they have jukeboxes, and then they have all this beautiful pinup art that's like old Hollywood vibes, these big chandeliers, deer heads. It feels like an old 20s hunting lodge. And then there are just bras hanging from
Everywhere.
every surface.
The thing is like so much of it doesn't go together, but that's kind of the vibe, is that somebody went, no, I want the color scheme and the material vibe of like a rich and hunting lounge, but also kind of give it the vibe of like a high-end BDSM club.
And like it's big, it's me and my friends were saying it's big like Great Gatsby vibes, where it's like the high Hollywood, high fashion 1920s, but also slutty as fuck. You know? There's a
Slutty
big
yet classy.
pinup.
That's a good way to describe your late 20s, early 30s.
Yeah. There's a big pinup that the outside of the art is all lit up and then her nipples are lit up. There's a show me your titties sign in the back. Like it's a very like boob positive bar. And like not in a way that's creepy, in a way that's just kind of fun.
Boobs are fun. We were talking about this before we started recording. Boobs are fun. Like,
Boobs are
not,
great,
I don't
guys.
mean that in a sexist way. Just, you can't like talk about boobs and be mad, or look at a boob and be mad.
Well, I think there are some Republicans in Congress that aggressively disagree with you.
Okay, well, you know
Like I don't
what?
think
I'm
Mike
not a
Pence looks.
fogey.
Oh God. But yeah, I don't think Mike Pence looks at mother or whatever he calls his wife at her boobs and is like, yeah.
See, we all used to in 2016, we made fun of him for that. Come 2020, and everyone is calling Captain Marvel mommy and Scarlet Witch mommy on the internet.
Okay,
So, like,
okay. No. I don't even like the mommy thing. However, there is a difference between, to me, we have decided as a society, adults calling each other like daddy isn't bad. Like, I feel like we've just decided as a society.
it's cool.
And so I think it's just that, like, it gets into that's your equivalent. So you say mommy, which is even funnier. And then you already have like the MILF thing that has existed since the early 2000s. So, like, I think that is
I think
different
MILFs have
than
existed since
calling.
the beginning of time.
I think that's different though than calling your wife mother.
Yeah, no, it
That's
is.
like some weird, like, if I can give a piece of advice to anyone listening, if you are dating a guy who has mommy issues, run. Run far, far away. They are not bad people, but they need to deal with those mommy issues before you will ever be able to be in a healthy relationship with them. You gonna disagree with me? Like, you
No,
gonna tell me?
I was gonna say something, but I feel like it might come off incredibly bad.
Oh no. Okay, then let's not then. I love you so much, but sometimes I can't predict what's going to come out of your mouth, so I don't want to say either way. I mean, you can type it in the chat if you want, and I can be the judge of whether or not you can say that on the podcast.
Vampire type.
Okay. But yeah, I don't know. It's just like, look up serial killers who had mommy issues. There are so many of them, almost all of them. Ed Gein's mom took him bra shopping with her. It's very strange. That's very uncomfortable.
I
And like
still
not
get
like
uncomfortable, like, if me and my mom are just in the mall together and, like, there's, like, the lingerie section in, like, a Macy's, I'm still like, "I'll take the long way."
yeah, can we not? Yeah, and this was not like just like, "Oh, we bring." Yeah, don't say, you can't say that. That will come off poorly.
Yeah.
That is something that like I know you and I know you're kidding.
Other
Um
people will not.
Other people who don't know you don't, and that will get clipped and live on the internet forever. Anyway. Yeah, Ed Gein's mom used to like, and not just like, oh, you're gonna come and like stand here with your siblings because I just need to grab a couple of bras. Like, I am a mother of children, you know,
Yeah.
my time is finite. Um, he like used to go into the dressing room with her.
Nope.
And it makes me very uncomfortable.
Shopping with your
Ugh,
mom is supposed to be torture, but not like that.
yeah, oh yeah, and that's why he kept his mother's dead body in a room, in a chair.
Sitting upright or, like, relaxing
Yeah,
back? I
no,
would
like
I would
sitting
I would
upright.
I would have put the recliner out, cross the two little skeleton ankles, put a beer in the skeleton's hand.
Good lord.
Just a
Um,
vibin' mommy skeleton.
yeah, but it wasn't even like a skeleton. It was like
Just a rotting
she
corpse.
died and he put her in the chair. He dressed her and put her in the chair. This is what, if you haven't figured it out yet, Ed Gein inspired Psycho. Um,
I figured.
if you hadn't put together the pieces yet, Norman Bates is based on Ed Gein. But yeah. Ooh,
What?
your room just got very dark. Like the lighting changed for a second. Oh, and now your face is coming back.
I don't know. Nothing changed here.
It's just your camera adjusting to the light, and it startled me because suddenly it was like fully blue.
It might be that, yeah, it's finally gotten dark, dark outside.
Yeah. Um, God, this we've been
I
recording for
have
12 minutes and we have already run the game. This
Yeah,
is the
no.
most honest conversation you and I have ever had on any piece of media. Like, if
People are
you want
just
to know.
people are just finding out what our phone calls are like. Because me and LeighErin call each other no less than 3 times a night. We'll say bye,
Yeah.
but we'll know it's like, before midnight. You're calling two more times.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just that we want to go do other things. But when the next thing reminds us of something we want to tell you and we're both too lazy to type out the text message, we just call each other.
Yeah,
And then
it's a
we go
very
off on tangents.
it's a very fun dynamic. Our phone calls.
Oh Lord. I will sometimes though I do miss when we were in college and we would sit on the phone and not say anything for like 2 hours.
Well, it would be FaceTime, so we could get along. We could go along with like saying stuff, not saying stuff longer. Now with the phone, when it's like 20 minutes not talking, we're just like, all right, bye.
Yeah, we gotta go. But on FaceTime, yeah, we just sit and do work. We are a very codependent friendship.
We were like virtual roommates in college, where like if we were alone in our room, FaceTime was on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, it was cute.
So what's up with you? How's Jedi Survivor going?
Literally, that's all my life. Like it's like that SpongeBob meme of like all he knows is Jedi Survivor and breathing. Like
Well, that's why I tagged you when I put the Zencaster link in our Discord channel, because I knew you needed that, like something to buzz your watch.
mhm. Yeah,
Um, I also
my
knew it was going to take you forever to get on, and that's why I wasn't interested. To be clear to everyone listening, my camera was not on. Like I had the flap down while I was getting changed, but I knew it was going to take Jordan like 5 minutes to get here, and I needed to change my shirt.
because I had to put my. I was like, fuck it. Well, we're recording. I'll charge the controller. Charge that while I'm wearing these headphones. These aren't being charged. Readjust the couch. Fucking clean up from the little nest I've made. I've just planted myself on this couch for 3 days. I I
At
I'm, I
least,
I think I'm gonna beat it by tomorrow night.
and at least this time, unlike when Fallen Order came out, you have our critical content to fall back on as reasoning behind it.
I didn't play Fallen Order when it came out. I played it like a year later.
Either way, you get
Yeah.
what I mean, though. Because once you started, whoa there.
Was I addicted to that game for a minute? Because sometimes I don't remember which games I was
Yeah,
like.
the big games that I just remember you talking to me about incessantly until you beat them were Fallen Order and Breath of the Wild.
Breath of the Wild, because that was during our FaceTiming days, because I played that in
Yeah,
college. I would play it with you over the phone. And Fallen Order was just because I know you like the Star Wars. So I'm like, I have to share with you what I did in the Starland.
yeah. Um, ugh, and then here I am trying to beat Assassin's Creed 2.
You got this. You got this. You
I'm
got to.
I'm going. Although every time I think I'm about to enter the climax of the story that will lead to the game ending, it doesn't happen. And
There are
I'm
some
like,
games that are
how?
like that. Without even thinking, I'd say that most of the times where games have pacing issues is like the last 3 levels.
Yeah.
There's so many games where it's like, oh, each of these last 3 levels, each on their own, could have been a conclusion.
There was also like this big thing about how like this woman that Ezio is, or however the fuck you say his name, is like screwing. I haven't seen her since that happened. And I play this game for at least an hour every day. It's like going to the gym. I'm not even kidding.
That's a good way to get through a long game, because like with bigger, longer games, like with Breath of the Wild, I'm gonna have to binge it for a few days, but after that, it's very much going to be a however much I can chip into this at a time.
Yeah. Um yeah, I kind of like I you know me, I love a schedule. And so I kind of am like, all right, I get up, I work out, I go to work. When work is over, I have done pretty much everything I needed to do for the day, so I it's veg out time. And I read for half an hour and I play a video game for an hour. I would read for also for a full hour, but I read on my walks at work, so
Yeah, no, I however much content I can stuff in my dumb little brain at a time.
I don't think I'm watching a single that's not true. I just started a new anime. I was about to say I don't think I'm watching a show I have never seen before right
I
now.
have like the last couple episodes of Vox Machina to get through, and then it's just watching Ted Lasso every week. I still
Oh
like,
yeah, I guess I'm watching Ted Lasso.
but yeah, that's like, oh, Tuesday nights, you just fucking you get an hour to yourself and you're done. Like, it's easy.
Yeah. Because I'm watching obviously for Marvel School for Dummies, I'm watching Jessica Jones. Um, which that show just bums me out a little bit. I love that show, but like I can't handle sitting and binging it, so I watch one episode a night on split up nights. Before we record. Great show, but kind of a bummer.
This feels like a first time watch for me because I have not watched it since I watched it the first time.
See, that's how I felt for Daredevil. Now you know.
Yeah, I
That's
mean,
what
like,
Daredevil was like for me.
to be fair, Daredevil I did not watch either. Again, since I originally watched it, but like I for both of them, I like remember the major points. I just remember the Daredevil ones a little more.
If you had shown me that Twinkie Man that we think has explored not Kilgrave, Kingpin's body, do you think there's never mind. Um, but you could have shown me a picture of that man before we did the Daredevil rewatch, and I would not have known what he was from.
Yeah,
I would
Wesley,
have had no idea.
little Wesley.
Oh, see, I still don't know his name. I just know him as the Twinkie Man.
I love his character. I don't know what it
His
is. This is
character's great. I just can't retain his name.
But yeah, no, Survivor's great. Makes me want a Star Wars RPG.
Like a video game
Yes.
RPG? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So here comes my follow up question of this. What's the difference?
This one, what makes an RPG an
I
RPG?
guess, okay, I guess here's the thing. I don't understand what makes a video game RPG a video game, like an RPG.
So the thing is, from what I've heard other creators that have like done this for a while say, it used to be that there were very much RPGs, and as time got on, a lot of video games started having RPG elements. So like I would say a full blown, and I'm not even getting into the difference of like JRPGs and Western RPGs, um, Japanese RPGs versus Western RPGs.
I assumed.
Yeah, because some people say there's a big difference
But
between
my
them.
brain went, I knew J had to be Japanese, and then Western obviously means the Western world.
But you
But
imagine like
my
cowboys.
brain automatically went cowboys, and just I was stuck with that for a second.
No,
Can't share screens. Western themed Dungeons and Dragons campaign coming in 2025.
but yeah, like the most just traditional RPG video games would be things like, in terms of like the most ones, like the Bethesda stuff, Skyrim, Fallout, all the Elder Scrolls, not just Skyrim, because they're like, oh, build your character, and there are different points to put your skills in when you level up, and there are factions you can join and not join, and you could use specialize in these type of weapons versus that, and choose to be like an asshole or choose to be nice based on your interactions with characters. And so you can do 2 playthroughs and do them completely differently. Then there's like Grand Theft Auto, which lets you do what you want to do in some ways, but the story is kind of the same.
Gotcha.
And then like,
Um,
so this like Cal Kestis is like a character who like he's making choices as the story wants him to, and like you can kind of change how his hair and his beard, but it's still Cameron Moynihan. A Star
yeah.
Wars RPG would be like, no, I want to be my own guy. I want to be from this planet. Maybe I want to be more a bounty hunter. Maybe I want to be more a Jedi. Maybe I want to be like a smuggler. Like it's more a choose your own adventure RPG with video games. But like
Okay.
level up systems, skill trees, putting on different armors for different abilities. Those are like RPG elements you'll find in normal games.
Gotcha. Okay, so speaking of westerns, and I mean cowboys at this point. I saw a tweet the other day that was like, remember when Red Dead Redemption 2 came out and the villains in it were like just the Pinkertons, and it the real life Pinkertons got upset with their portrayal, and that made everybody realize that the Pinkertons are still around. Seeing this tweet sent me down that rabbit hole that the Pinkertons are still around.
I'm
Like
not
that's
gonna
still
lie.
a thing.
I did not know what the Pinkertons were till the recent scandal with Wizards of the Coast.
How are the Pinkertons involved in that?
Did you not see that's why they were back in the like the public forum this week?
No, I just saw this random tweet.
Wizards of the Coast apparently sent the Pinkertons to like scare down a local card shop that accidentally broke a street date for Magic the Gathering.
Oh my god.
And people are
Wow, they
like,
really just want everyone to hate them.
no, but then people were like, wait, the Pinkertons are still around to this day in 2022. And
Yeah,
that these are the same ones from Red Dead
the Civil
Redemption,
War.
the Civil War, the early 1900s scabs, and that they're also just being hired by Wizards of the Coast.
Yeah. Did you also know there's some connection to where the term redneck comes from that has to do with the Pinkertons?
Did not know that. Oh, isn't
Yeah.
it that like the scabs used to wear like red handkerchiefs?
Correct.
Why do I feel like I know that from Until Dawn? Is that a
I
plot
have
point in
no
Until Dawn
idea.
at
I
all with
don't
like
think so.
the mines underneath?
I don't think so.
I have no clue.
I still gotta play The Quarry.
It's so similar to Until Dawn in some ways, and I want to talk about that with you.
Yeah, I think that's gonna be my plan for like Memorial Day weekend since I have that long weekend. I think I'm gonna just play through The Quarry.
Do it.
Also, Gotham Knights is getting an update, and I hate that I want to play it.
Yeah, that apparently it's like all the villains are getting together.
Yeah, they have an expansion. And I'm like, fuck. And because
I'm-
this is the thing that I said in our review, I'm just such a big Batman fan that any Bat Family content you will give me, I will just eat. It doesn't
The thing
matter
is-
if it's good or bad.
The thing is, I don't know if I'd be willing to jump back in with you.
No, I know. I just play alone.
Aw.
I am a lone wolf. I rotate my children. Somewhere I probably still have the notebook where I had how I rotate them to handle what when, which was
Gotcha.
way more thought than I needed to put into that, but whatever.
But it's fun doing your little head cannons like that.
Yeah.
Like that's one of my favorite things about playing games, being like interactive experiences. Like right now with Cal Kestis, like I get to kind of decide why he's dressing the way he's dressed, like what type of vibe I want to go for.
Yeah.
Or like when I switch my suits in Spider-Man.
We're like, this is why I feel like you and I are going to thrive playing D&D. It's all that shit that we just like enjoy doing.
Yeah.
But like with no stakes, which is sick. Like I had so much fun creating. If you haven't watched it, last week when this comes out, we did a live stream where we created D&D characters as part of a new project we were doing called New Rollers, where Jordan and I are gonna deep dive into everything Dungeons and Dragons. We're going to be doing interviews with DMs. We're going to be doing roundtables with all sorts of players of Dungeons and Dragons and other tabletop RPGs. And it will all culminate in this fall. We will be having a campaign with all of us here. Well, not all of us, but a group of us here at Shared Screens playing through our own campaign. It's very exciting. So go check out the VOD if you haven't. Also, since we're like halfway through the podcast, I will also throw in we're Shared Screens Podcast. You can follow us everywhere at Shared Screens. We're mostly on Twitter. Follow us here on YouTube. We also sometimes stream on Twitch, but mostly on YouTube. We just finished up our recap of the newest season of The Mandalorian. We got a whole breakdown of The Last of Us first season. We do everything Marvel, all
By the
that
time
shit.
this comes out, the Guardians spoiler cast should be up as well.
Yes.
Or coming
Guardians
up
of the
very
Galaxy.
soon.
Yes.
One of the two.
I just don't remember how those are being set up. But yeah. Anyway, that's why I had so much fun creating the character yesterday. My character is I'm not gonna say her full name, but she goes by Xena. And she is a tiefling ranger, and it was all the shit I have to do to create characters for my own writing with no stress. It's just fun. Because, like, here's the thing. The DM takes the control out of my hand. If she dies, she fucking dies. And that just kind of is what it is. I don't want her to. But, like, it's not me making that choice. You know what I
I
mean?
don't know. I feel like I'd be devastated if my D&D character died.
I think I will be very upset the first time. I can understand how, like, I'm about to sound like such a basic bitch, but like I just said, Jordan and I don't know a lot about D&D yet. So like all of my introduction to D&D has been one of my friends who loves D&D, Stranger Things and Critical Role. All right? Don't come for me. I'm getting there. But like in Critical Role, Taliesin, who voices Percy in Vox Machina, is Percy in Vox Machina. He has a character die in the second campaign, and he kind of just seems to like roll with it. And he's like, I already started making like a new character the other week, just like kind of playing around with it. So I'll just do that one. Like it's not that big a deal. And I think that's because he's been playing for like 15 years.
I guess.
But I think the first time it will be devastating. And I think anytime I'm playing ever and my animal companion is killed, I will be inconsolable. If I get this weasel and it dies, I don't know what I'm gonna do.
just get a DM that is okay giving the animals plot armor.
Plot armor, yeah. Or real armor. I'll get my little weasel a little suit of armor.
Yeah.
I just really, yeah, like and it's probably not funny to anybody but me, but the idea of this little like half demon ranger thing, and like, you know, doesn't everything we set up, like she doesn't really live within society, she's constantly alone, and she just has a weasel that she would murder for, is like very funny to me.
Yeah. Because I made a short character, I just think the funniest pet for me would be a giant animal.
Yeah.
That I just ride upon into battle.
If anyone, I keep laughing at, so because the TikTok algorithm is what the TikTok algorithm is, I now see a ton of like Dungeons and Dragons TikToks. And one of them was like, I don't remember what it was about, but in it was like, oh, worst moments for every type of class in Dungeons and Dragons. And essentially what the Rangers was that they accidentally killed the druid because they didn't know the druid was an animal form. And I keep like giggling to myself that if anybody, I'm so nervous about doing that, and I don't even know if that's possible, but like I'm so nervous that if anyone chooses to be a druid in our group, I'm gonna be like, okay, I have to know when you turn into an animal so that I do not shoot you.
I think the other reason me and you will have a lot of fun with D&D is because we always used to joke about like if we had a sitcom as like ourselves, and B, like what like a superhero dynamic between us would be, because we're just so into superheroes so fucking much.
And you like improv. I don't, but I like improv. Yeah, I like stuff like this where the goal is not to be funny.
Yeah.
and no one's looking at me. Like a big part of that is like no one's looking at me. But I the reason I dislike improv is because I feel like every non-professional improv troupe I have ever seen, it's mostly men, and their goal is to do anything they can to make the majority of the audience laugh.
And they want to be the one to get the laugh. They are not
Yes.
trying to all cohesively set up a good laugh.
And I cannot stand that. And they will never go somewhere that, like, okay. if you're listening and you haven't watched Middleditch and Schwartz on Netflix, I highly recommend it. But like, part of the reason that the alien bit is so funny is because they are acting like it is the most serious shit on the fucking planet. Like, they are giving it their all, and that's why it's funny. And so it's not like, it just drives me crazy that a lot of people, it feels like their thought process on improv is it's like just do whatever you can to get the laugh, and it's like, no, that's lazy improv.
Yeah.
um
Yeah. As someone who likes improv and as someone who has done improv, I'll admit it's a bit cringe, but like, sometimes life is cringy and you just have to embrace the cringe. I don't know what to say here, man.
no, it's fine. I also find it funny that I feel like specifically men gravitate towards improv, and I'm curious if there's like a reason as to why.
There was a decent amount of girls in my improv group when I was in
Was this a
college, and
Duchess?
now I've admitted I was an improv group when I was in community college.
Yeah, that's different.
Yeah.
I feel like the people you meet in community college doing any kind of theater, specifically community college, I'm not shitting on community colleges. Community colleges are great. And we're all on a rock floating in space, and we're not here by our own choice. So, like, do whatever makes you fucking happy if it's not hurting anybody, you know? However, um, in community theater, I feel like the people you meet in like improv groups or in like theater and that kind of stuff are people who did theater in high school, and that's the only way they know how to make friends.
Here's the thing, and I feel like you're gonna get annoyed when I say this.
Ooh, I'm excited.
I miss doing theater, not gonna lie. I haven't done theater in a while and
I
I kind of miss it.
I'm not going to make fun of you because I think that's great. You did not go through the college experience I went through that made me hate acting. It's just you didn't go
I didn't
to
go
my
to theater
theater program.
school. Theater,
Yeah,
for me, theater/acting has always just been a vibe. Like, I found out a friend of mine was writing a show in college. I was like, fuck yeah, I'll be in it. I found out that there were like open auditions to be an extra in our hometown. I went, I gave Mark Ruffalo a bro nod. It was cool. Like, it's just a
yeah.
vibe for me.
It's never been like life or death for you.
No,
Um,
and I understand why that can completely change people's reaction to it.
yeah, and like here's the thing. College ruined me with theater so badly that I just, with the exception of 2 shows, I am just now starting to sometimes listen to cast recordings from musicals that I liked
Yeah,
as a youngin.
I listen to show tunes a decent amount, but like, I do it for dumb reasons.
Good. Good. No, the only ones I listen to consistently are Natasha Pierre and the Great Comet of 1812 and Hadestown.
Ah,
Yeah. Which if you know anything about either of those shows, that should not surprise you.
yeah. I don't know. I feel like I miss it. It was a vibe. It was fun. Like, but I completely get why, like, you know, people that need to do it for survival or don't have time for people like me to show up to be like, hey, can I come in? Like, what's going on here?
Yeah, and like I don't know, it's just weird and people suck is what a lot of this comes down to. Is theater attracts people who have large egos or need their ego like stroked to survive. Um and I just don't like deal with that well.
To be fair,
Um
I'm constantly posting memes on Twitter, shit posting when we podcast, and I used to do it. I do also need my ego stroked a lot. I
yeah,
just
and like I joke a lot that like college is what did it to me. I shouldn't, but it kind of is also true. But a big part of it was the first show I did out of college. That director, Directors don't make me cry. I do not give a fuck what directors say to me because I know it's not personal. They are not, it has nothing to do with me or my talent. It is just not fitting what they are trying to do. And so I need to change it. Or I'm overacting the shit out of it. And like, that's on me. I shouldn't overact the shit out of
You
it, you know?
told. I
He
remember
made me
the.
cry multiple times. Like, it was insane.
But the other show you did, didn't you love the director?
Mm-mm.
Or you liked the
I
show a
like
lot?
him. It was a show. This is gonna sound dumb, but it was a show where the entire cast was me and three older women, and it was just an amazing experience for me as a young woman to be surrounded by these three, and like
And
they
I
all
knew
still
one of them,
mean,
and she's absolutely lovely.
yeah, and all three of them are still greatly important to me. And like taught me a lot about myself and like kind of my place in the world, and a lot about standing up for myself and not letting myself be like put down because people don't want to listen to me, like, so that I have a lot of I don't think if I hadn't done Exit Laughing, I don't think I would have moved when I did.
Really.
Like, it was just huge in giving me a confidence boost and a confidence in myself as a person that I needed. And it's also what made me realize I don't really like acting as much as I like writing and directing. I
Which
prefer
is
writing
fine.
and directing. I like being in control of things. Getting my master's in creative writing changed my fucking life and like made me realize how much I love writing and that I'm a good writer. Um, this is now going to lead to people asking to read my writing. Please don't ask me. I get so weird about giving giving things I've written to people. I get very weird about it.
Yeah, you don't
I
even
don't.
show me much.
I read you things though.
Occasionally, yeah.
You know, this is bad. This is a bad thing that I'm about to say for me and my trust issues. You know the most about any of my writing, bar no one else in my life. No one else knows as much as you do.
Interesting.
That's not a good thing. I
No,
need to get a grip, but yeah. Yes, I do. I call Jordan a lot about my writing and
it's
just
fine. We
run
just
ideas
vibe.
by him. Yeah.
We just do haha, but what if jokes, and then it suddenly becomes wait, that one might work.
Yeah, which is surely what I need. And this is why I say that you're like my sounding board. Like, I call you for things because I just need to bounce them off somebody, and like stupid things come out of us joking. Watch in November for our Hunger Games simulator live stream with the shared screens crew. um and like I feel like, I don't know, I feel like that's the best way to create. Like, I was watching, again, stay with me, I was watching Degrassi before we hopped on here, right? And
Of
like the
course you
later
were.
seasons before they became a Netflix show. um and I understand why people don't like that younger class. I don't really like that younger class. The grade below them is full of sweet, innocent children, and I love them dearly, and they must be protected at all cost. But the class that is, for anybody that watched Degrassi, Maya, Zoe, Tristan, Miles, and Zig, I don't really like them. And part of this is like Tristan. Let me give you a little lowdown on Tristan. Tristan is gay. He is in a school that does not have a huge LGBTQ population, wants to date and be like the rest of his peers, but just there like aren't enough out guys yet, you know? And they get a new writing teacher who, as a child, I would have been like, oh, I love this guy. As an adult, fuck this guy. The second he walks in the room, the second he walks into the room, he says nothing to his classroom full of children. Just an adult in a leather jacket, a button down, and jeans. Walks into the room, walks over to the window, and just starts looking out the window until one of them goes, "Are you our new teacher, or do I have to get the principal?" And he turns around, gets on top of their desks, and gives this whole monologue walking along the tables that they sit at. And it's like, and then at the end of it, he's like, that's why I'm going to be starting a writers collective, invitation only, where the first rule of collective is don't talk about collective. Shut the fuck up. Shut
God,
the
the
fuck
teacher
up.
sounds insufferable.
Shut the fuck up. Yeah. So then he doesn't invite Tristan. Tristan just goes to their secret meeting in the woods. The teacher's immediately like, all right, who blabbed, and is going to kick whoever told Tristan where they are out. And
Why is the teacher bringing kids to the woods as a secret?
for this writing collective where they all go sit on stone benches in the woods and talk about writing, which is wild to me. And so Tristan comes up and the teacher's like, you're not supposed to be here. Like, I didn't invite you. You can't just knock at the temple of Buddha and expect to be let in. Sir, you're talking to a 15-year-old.
What the fuck is this show, bro?
Tristan was like, I want my chance to prove myself. And he goes, okay, write a poem right now. And Tristan's like, I can't do that. And he's like, well, great artists have great art flowing through them at all times. No! No! I'm a good writer. I suck at writing poetry. I don't write poetry.
Sit in their apartment for a week straight doing nothing but drugs and then finally put down like 4 words on a page and go, progress.
Yeah, like truly, I'm stare at a computer screen for 4 hours, come up with 2 paragraphs, and I'm like, that's all I got for today. Like, we're done. And I can't write poetry. Like, and what about, like, I don't know. Do you apply that? Because he compares it to the Algonquin table, too, which automatically I'm like, shut the fuck up. You know what the Algonquin table is, right? Do I have to be the asshole that explains to you what the Algonquin table is?
I know what Algonquins are, because, like,
so not the Native Americans.
Okay.
Not the Native Americans. You know the Algonquin Hotel in New York?
No.
Okay, so there's the Algonquin Hotel.
Why don't I know about this?
I don't know. I learned about it in school, so I don't know why you don't know about it. But the Algonquin Hotel is a hotel in New York, where I don't know if it was a restaurant or a bar or just the lobby, but writers and poets and musicians and actors would hang out and like write and make art together. I think in like the 1920s or some shit like that. I don't fucking know. And they were called the Algonquin Round Table. They make a joke about this in Friends is the other reason I assumed you knew what it was. Because at one point they're all sitting on the ground eating Chinese food around the coffee table, and Ross looks up and goes, "Oh, this is like the Algonquin kids table." And it's one of the things they reference when when Penn Teller's trying to sell Joey encyclopedias.
See, I thought that he was joking about
No.
I thought it was a joke about Native Americans.
No,
I was
Jordan,
like,
no.
It's a fucked up joke. It was the 90s. Like, I don't know. Here's the thing. Occasionally, Friends also just makes reference to something that was definitely popular in the 90s, and I go, I don't know what that is, or I don't fully understand. Like, the way that in 20 years, people are going to watch The Office and see the planking episode and be like, this is just one of the
jokes. Or the parkour episode.
But they at least describe parkour.
Fair. But yeah, that's the Algonquin Round Table. You know the murals in Barnes & Noble Starbucks that are like all the writers?
Mm-hmm.
That's like kind of essentially what the Algonquin Round Table was. It wasn't those writers specifically, but it was like a bunch of fucking artists in New York in the 30s, which was a wild place to be.
So many drugs.
Yeah. Being an artist in any major city, anytime between like the 1930s and the 1970s was a wild time.
I like to imagine it still is.
There's less cocaine. There is definitely post 1970s, 1980s. There's definitely less cocaine.
With the amount of people I've casually run into in my life that I found out have done coke, I used to think that it was super rare. And turns I can list without even thinking multiple people in my life. Not even that I know personally, just like multiple instances in my life where people have just casually mentioned that they've done cocaine. I'm like, maybe it's really common.
No, it used to be very, very common, especially in television's writers' rooms. But and Wall Street. I think it is still popular on Wall Street, to my knowledge. I think it's more just Hollywood and like the music industry that are like, hey, maybe us all being coked out of our minds all day isn't a good idea.
Just the stars, just the ones that need to keep dancing.
Or like, never mind, I can't say that. Scientology will come after me. That's what I bring to shared screens. I just bring the wrath of Scientology down upon us.
I'll fight them. I don't give a fuck.
Scientology is a cult. Hey, it's Dave Miscavige's birthday. Where's Shelley Miscavige? Where is she? She's been missing for like 15 years at this point. I will leave us on that note.
Please don't. Let's not leave on that note.
That was a joke. That was a joke.
I hate us. I hate us so much.
You know, this is just
Yeah.
how my brain works.
Writers' rooms sound fun in like the dumbest ways though. Because I feel like it is just people going, haha, but what about this?
Yeah, or like that tweet that was like got big a couple like a month or two ago where it was a lot of people sitting like doing this in a room staring at a whiteboard. It's a lot, it's somewhere between those
Fun.
at all times. Um cuz like that's the thing is like I shit talk a lot of like cable shows specifically about like plot holes and all that kind of stuff. But I also can't imagine coming on as a writer for Riverdale in like season 5 and you have all of these cards of everything that has happened in the first couple of seasons, storylines that still need to be wrapped up, all this stuff. Now write me a cohesive plot.
I mean,
I
they still
can't.
somehow ended up at this character is going to become the Scarlet Witch.
I think they also have now gone back in time.
What the fuck is
I
going on
think
with that
an
show?
angel from the future sent them back in time to the first year of the show, if I was understanding a tweet I saw correctly.
Here's the thing. Part of me wants to go, this is fucking awesome. Like, this is, I like stupid shit like this. But part of me is also like, wow, what happened? What
Also,
happened
if
to.
you were to watch the pilot of Riverdale and then take into your mind all the things you just know about Riverdale, you would be like, how the fuck do we get there?
So that's the thing is, all I know about Riverdale is it's supposed to be like a gritty adult version of like the Archie kids, but that's somewhat based in reality. It's like there's gangs and there's kind of a cult.
There's a 17-year-old girl who strips because her boyfriend's a member of the gang, and so she strips in front of a bunch of grown-ass adult men to the song Mad World.
Like, but that's what I'm saying is that's still confined to like the physics of reality. It's
It's
cringy
still
teenage
weird as
drama.
shit.
No, it's cringy teenage drama, but like there's nothing there's nothing like out of Earth's rules that are applying. And then you're like, now they have superpowers. I'm like, how did we get from here to there? Because most shows that have that shit introduce it in the first episode.
Well, they have, again, this is where we come back to Cheryl just essentially being the Scarlet Witch at this point, is she broke reality, and that break in reality caused them all to end up with superpowers. This was after she ripped Archie's heart out of his chest during the cult storyline.
I don't get, how did we get here? All I'm saying is, like, imagine if you found out that, like, at some point in Shameless, they started shooting fire out of their hands. You'd be like, how?
It'd be fucking weird, dude. It'd be fucking weird. And, like,
And I don't,
I
again, part of me is all for, like, fuck it, do the dumbest shit you can, but, like,
Riverdale time.
all I'm saying is, like, there's a reason that, like, you know, Ben 10's first episode is him getting the watch, and there's not 5 seasons of him as just, like, an 8-year-old doing, and then suddenly they're like, now we're gonna add an alien. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Um But yeah, they introduced time travel into Riverdale, and not like the episode takes place years before. Like they did an episode where they're all playing their parents at Riverdale High School and it's the same actors, but they're their parents and they're all dressed like it's the 80s, that kind of shit. This isn't that. This is they physically go back in time.
Yeah. It's not like the Friends What If episodes, which are like them reminiscing. It's it would be like if the Friends What If episode was literally like the Watcher from Marvel came down and showed us like the split timelines.
Yeah. A supernatural shift in Riverdale resulted in the witch and the rest of the group being sent back in time, following Percival's curse and Cheryl's attempts to keep a comet from destroying Riverdale. What? What does that mean?
Okay. I want us to start giving other shows the Riverdale treatment, where we choose like a relatively normal in terms of like how fictional it is show and add in all the mystical shit. Like that should be a new trend
And
in
now they're
Hollywood.
back in the 1950s with no recollection of their relationships in the present. Only Cole Sprouse's character, fuck Cole Sprouse, only Cole Sprouse's character, Jughead, is aware that something is wrong, and he has to convince his friends that they have been sent back in time to the 70s.
I need them to do a psychological study of this show and its viewers, its writers, and everything about it.
What's wild to me too, though, is that it's not the height of television, but Pretty Little Liars' Original Sin is good.
But again, it sticks to what it is. Like at no point does Pretty Little Liars, the new one or the old one, add in, oh well, there's a ghost walking around,
Oh,
or
oh, honey, I'm so
I
glad you
fell
said
into a
ghost.
vat of toxic waste, and now I'm like super A or whatever.
Oh, you are in for a surprise. There actually is an entire ghost reincarnation storyline that led to one of the characters' boyfriends leaving to go be in a spin-off show, Ravenswood, which was the worst thing ever made, got canceled halfway through the first season. And then even though in Ravenswood they revealed that this chick, which I think was one of the chicks from the Fosters, that this chick is like his soulmate and that they're like meant to find each other across generations, like every time their souls come back and they've been here before and there's a curse on this town because of something their grandparents were involved in, like da, da, da. And then he just comes back to Rosewood, to Pretty Little Liars, and like gets back with Hannah, and none of it is ever addressed again.
Tell me you're joking, or I will log off.
No, that is a true fact. And it came out when Pretty Little Liars, I was in high school when it was like really at its height. I tried to watch the pilot, and 15-year-old me, who was watching Ezra and Arya's relationship on Pretty Little Liars and going, that's fine. When this is terrible. This is dumb as shit. I am a big Pretty Little Liars apologist, but I couldn't even defend that one.
Why do shows do this? Why? I'm so. I feel like it would just be such a. I would assume you telling me you're the writer here that it's such an easy rule to be like stick within the rules of your universe.
You would think. But I think so. For Pretty Little Liars specifically, for Riverdale, I have no fucking idea. But for Pretty Little Liars specifically, I always wonder if it was to kind of bank on the supernatural romance that was really, really popular when we were in high school between like Fallen and Twilight and Evermore and the
Teen
show
Wolf.
Supernatural, the show Teen Wolf, like supernatural romance was really, really popular when we were younger.
It was.
So like I wouldn't be surprised if if ABC Family at the time
It's
was
just
like,
we need to find a way to take the target
yeah.
demo of Pretty Little Liars that also good for but I feel like they didn't have to make it connected. It could have been like, hey, from the same producers or studios, and air that pilot right after like a huge reveal moment of Pretty Little Liars, and then you go, hey, it's Tumblr Girl Fridays. Pretty Little
Tumblr Girl
Liars.
Fridays.
Pretty Little Liars followed by Ravenwood. The shows are not canonically connected. They're just,
Yeah.
Just they're like shows that like air. You know what I mean? You get.
There's
what I'm
also
saying.
a little boy in Pretty Little Liars that they heavily imply is psychic.
Ew.
They heavily imply that this child like experienced whichever girl fucking died the night Allie disappeared. I never remember which girl it was anymore. But that he could taste the dirt in her mouth as she was buried alive. Like, it's very strange.
Here's the thing. Part of me is like, how dare they like imply that all this stuff is real? But then it's like, technically, if we want to get really, really technical, because of the crossovers with Disney, both the psychics from That's a Raven and the Wizards of Waverly Place exist in the Hannah Montana and Sweet Life universe, because that's all one universe.
Yeah.
So Zach and Cody are just walking around, apparently with wizards around in that world.
Yeah. And it's all I don't know how much I don't know how much I like that either. Like,
but it never shows up. But it never like comes up.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same thing that I was talking to you about a few weeks ago, where like sometimes Bones has episodes that implies that psychics are real and that like ghosts are real, and it's very weird. And then they tried to connect Bones and Sleepy Hollow, and no Bones fans were into that, including myself.
Okay, do you think Halloween episodes have to be considered canon if like they end with like the ghost might have been real?
No, I don't think Halloween episodes have to be considered canon, period, because like I don't assume the Boy Meets World Halloween episode, everybody knows what I'm talking about. I don't assume that one's canon.
I don't remember this episode.
Oh, it's the one where like they have it's a very iconic like Scream episode. It's like
Oh, and
the
it's like they're in the
episode.
school
Yeah.
at night. Okay, I think I've seen parts of
Welcome
it.
to John Adams High. This is where you're gonna die. That
Don't
is a
remember that.
real song they sing in that episode. I could quote probably that entire episode to you, but I assume that that one in theory is not canon because in it there are two Seans. Jennifer Love Hewitt's character dies, Feeney dies, and so does another student. So, like, I don't think Halloween episodes have to be considered canon. They also had Boy Meets World also had a crossover episode with Sabrina the Teenage Witch for a Halloween episode.
God damn it! So that implies magic is real in that universe.
Yeah, and so, but like, I don't know if I necessarily consider that canon.
Yeah, crossovers are complicated because you got to just realize they're doing it for the kids and the hype.
It's the TGI Friday night. It's fun to have different actors from TGI Friday cross over.
Yeah,
Because like that episode where Sabrina's in it is also Candace Cameron is in it playing a witch,
interesting.
not her character from Full House. And then there's an episode of Full House where what's his nuts from Family Matters is on it.
Urkel's in an
Yeah,
episode. Yeah,
yeah,
but Urkel doesn't show up with like blasting lasers out of his eyes.
fair, 100% fair. All right. With that, I am gonna end it here. Thank you so much for joining this on this, I don't know,
Wild
stream of
adventure.
consciousness that we've been on. Uh like I said, follow us everywhere at Shared Screens. Make sure like this video, subscribe to us on YouTube. Keep your eye out for new rollers, our Guardians of the Galaxy spoiler cast. We're probably doing some stuff for Ted Lasso, and as the summer looms closer, we'll be doing even more getting into Summer Games Fest. So stick with us, and we will see you later. Bye.
Bye.